different topic. Raw, unfiltered. So sit back and relax. Melanie P. Talk to him.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast, where we talk about everything from love to relationships to finances and everything in between. We are back with another episode. We have a special guest, and actually a very special episode I'm going to tell you a little bit about later. But friend to the show, Lambo, how are you feeling?
Good. Happy to be back on the show. Just ready to get to it. You know, never know exactly what I'm going to say, what I'm going to talk about. Nothing is scripted, so let's get to it.
That sounded very scripted.
Okay.
So, Lambo, you know we start every episode with a mental health check-in. How is your mental health this week?
Pretty good. Just being focused with everything. I'm, being busy, working my little baby Bailey. Just doing what I do around the house. So, just feel pretty good. Trying to, just get through this summer. Go somewhere good. Fast. Go somewhere else exciting would be nice.
Nice. Mental health for me, I'm feeling really good. If anybody knows that I actually am in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City herself, and Queen B is going to be in the Queen City this week, and I am going to see her floor seats, and I'm so excited.
Wow.
I'm so happy because at first I wasn't going to go see her because I'm like, I don't want to spend this money on this ticket, blah, 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 blah. But, my friends encouraged me to, they're all going. I need to go and enjoy life. Life is not promised. Well, I hate that saying actually, but tomorrow's not promised, kind of. And, money comes, my mantra is money comes frequently and easily to me. So TMI there, but I'm excited to see Queen B. She's going to be in the city this week, and that's like the highlight of my week. So nothing can go wrong for me. I am binding anything from going wrong with me this week. Mental health is good. Fresh week, fresh energy. I'm feeling really good. We have a special show today, but before we get into it, we're going to hit a quick hot topic, and then we'll tell you a little bit more about this special episode. So I'm going to do what I do best and play a clip. You know how I love to play clips and have different audio technical issues going on. But I'm going to play a clip that we're going to discuss before we get into this special episode, because this episode is brought to you by a special partner, and you guys are going to be able to have a special promo code at the end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned. But before we hit you with the special promo and the special episode, let's hit this hot topic. So I'm going to play a clip. I don't think you've heard this yet, Jason. I'm hoping my audio works this time. And we're going to chat about this.
I haven't heard it.
Again, we're going to chat about this. So
I never wanted to not be with you. I never wanted to be without you. I want to do life with you. But in the process of all this happening, you a liar. You got you a and I had to hear from this what our relationship was about. No, we not f***ing no more. I want to see other people. You act like you're the only fucker in this relationship that other people want to. No, no. Let's be real. So what we gonna do is we gonna stay together. We gonna have a beautiful life together for the rest of our lives. We gonna continue getting money together. We gonna continue raising this little girl together. We gonna have a fabulous home. We're gonna love and take care of each other. But I'm gonna f*** other people, and I hope you do too.
Jesus Christ.
And we will never ever talk about it. Don't bring me no babies. Don't bring me no diseases.
okay, so if you heard that clearly, our hot topic of the week is this. So couple's been married for a while, and the young lady found out that her husband had a side chick. And she said that instead of them breaking up their happy home, they're going to stay together. They're going to continue to build and keep their happy home, but she's going to fuck other people too. And she said that if you want to fuck other people, you can, but we're staying together and we're going to continue to build our relationship and I guess our financial life that they already have together. She just said, make sure that you don't bring any babies home, make sure you don't bring any diseases home, and make sure you don't tell me about your side chicks, but we're staying together and I'm going to fuck other people too. So Lambo, what is your thoughts on that?
I think for a lot of people, that's just normal life for them. A lot of people are not going to be faithful to each other, especially not over a long period of time. People handle different things differently. People have different opportunities that they respond to differently. And so people are just not going to be faithful to each other. It's just not going to happen. So this is just one alternative lifestyle where people are just going to do what they want. And as long as they agree to it, you know, I mean, it is what it is to them. You know, it's fine.
So let's do what I always do when it comes to you on the show. So let's put it in your perspective. So let's say that you were in a relationship, and let's say that your partner cheated on you. You found out about it, and then you decided to, well, you know, would you say, hey, let's just continue to stay together? You fuck other people, I fuck other people, but we continue to build our life together. Would you be okay with that?
No, probably not. You know, not to build with her, you know. So, again, that's their little boat that they can float in. I don't even know if she means that. She's just talking, you know, on a soundbite right there. So we'll see how long that lasts. So I'm skeptical.
So why are you not? Anyway. Why are you not okay with that?
Well, I mean, you just at that point, you know, you're turning your wife into, you know, you're basically a pimp for your wife. In some ways, you don't, you know, because if you're not, if you know that other men are having sex with her, you might as well be finding other men who have sex with your damn self. So unless you're ready for all that, you know, it's just not the time.
But in this,
some people are though, obviously.
In this situation, you know, she didn't want to cheat. You know, this started because he cheated, and so if he wants to cheat, and let's say, you know. Well, I guess in this situation, in the parallel to this, you wouldn't be the cheater, your wife would, but you wouldn't want to stay with that person and then just continue to see other people.
Well, she sounded like she was excited that it happened so she could cheat, it seems like to me. No, I mean, again, you know, it depends on what type of relationship you're trying to build. If you're trying to, like, what she's talking about, a family to get money, that's just not my style in that type of relationship. But, you know, for her, that's what she's saying right now. We'll see how long that lasts. Usually, you know, I think that really depends on the, you know, the couples. Those are a lot of swingers like that. Those are a lot of swingers, you know, obviously they ain't going to buy into what she's saying, you know. So that's the way it could be successful. Otherwise, what she's talking is just talking because she just wanted to pop her gums, try to go viral. That's what people try to do all the time.
Is cheating a non-negotiable for you?
Most of the time, I mean, you know, it's something that it's a little bit disrespectful, you know.
A little bit?
Well, however somebody wants to take it, you know. So it's something that, you know, especially if you're not going to cheat, you know, that's when you really don't want that as much. That's something that, again, people have to, like she said, that if they're going to do something, they should be agreeing on it up front.
Yeah, you know? So I feel like for me, I guess my opinion on that, I'm not down for that. I feel like, you know, if you have to cheat, now again, I don't know how long they've been married. And I can't speak from that standpoint, like being married to somebody for a very long time, because I know of, you know, people who have been married for a long time and they may know that their partner is cheating and they stay, because if you've been with someone for a very long time, that is an investment. You have your money tied in together. You have a lot of things, you know, tied in. And I can kind of see how you wouldn't want to just start over with somebody else, or you know, because everything is so mutually invested on so many different levels. I might not agree, but I can see why somebody might say, you know, let's just stay together.
Well,
and let's just stay together and let's just kind of sweep things under the rug, or, you know, whatever happens. But as for me, that would be a no. Now, again, I have to repeat, if I had been married to somebody for a very long time, I still feel like in my current state of where I am now, not even having that experience, that would still be a no for me. But I can see why some women or men, but specifically women, they stay with the man because they already have so much stuff invested. It kind of goes into the, what's that fable, whatever, it's cheaper to keep her. You know what I'm saying? You know, do you want to get a divorce and divide up all your assets and do all these things and start all over at 50 years old, at 60 years old? You may not want to. Now, again, I don't think they're that old. They do look a little, you know, mature, But for me, I wouldn't want to do that because I feel like Jason said, it sounds good now. You know, she's mad. She wants to get back. She knows that there's a million men out here, so I'm going to go out here and cheat too. But I feel like they're lying on both sides. Now, you heard the man's response to that. He was like, oh, whoa. You know, women, I feel like women, if they cheat, it could be more emotional and there could be more of an emotional attachment, which to me, cheating is horrible. But when you have an emotional attachment to somebody, that's even worse. I feel like a lot of men, if they cheat, it's just for ass. At the end of the day, a lot of times it's not as emotional, so it's not as much of an investment. So I think it sounds good now, but I think that it's not going to last long term.
Not going to last.
Absolutely not. So I'm glad that I heard your opinion on that. But this show today is special. This show is a special first for the podcast. We have a special sponsor for the episode, and I want to pull these cards out. The Unpackthat Therapy in a Box game. So the camera's going to zoom in when they do the editing. Unpackthat. So our friends and partners at Unpackthat has sent over some cards, and we are going to play this game. I mean, I don't know how much of a game it is. It was therapy in a box. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play this game, and then we're gonna give you a special promo code at the end of the episode for you to play this game with your partner too. So I think that you can play this with your husband, your wife, your partner, whoever. But we're gonna play this game. So the box looks like this. And I'm gonna open it for the first time, and we're gonna play this game. Oh wow. Let's see.
To unpack it.
Unpackthat Therapy in a Box. I read something on Instagram that said that couples, the only way a couple can be successful if they spend at least 90 minutes a day having conversation. So this might help with a couple being successful. So I'm looking at the cards, and there's different decks. So you have reflection, you have the bad, you have the good, you have the tough questions, and you have the wild cards. Ooh, so I'm gonna skip this wild cards because I think that's something we can't do. Ooh, something we can't do during the show.
Why is that?
The bed.
That's scary, isn't it?
No, we have to get up out our seats. Okay, so I'm gonna give you two of these. I'm gonna take two of these. Can you open these for me? And I'm gonna open mine. Each one of these decks. Should have did this before the episode. Jesus, I can't open this shit. I have to edit this part out, guys. You can drop it on the ground and pick it up. Open both your decks, and I'll open both of mine. And we're gonna mix these bad boys up. When I was married, I used to have a lot of couples parties where a lot of the married couples would get together, and I would have game night, and we would ask a lot of questions. And I'm always a fan of that because one thing about being married, you want to surround yourself with other married couples, and sometimes marriage is hard. From my experience, marriage is very hard, and I feel like sometimes you and your partner can be going through things, and your partner could be saying something to you, and it might not really register to you hearing it from them, but sometimes hearing it from another couple and hearing their take on things makes it a little bit easier. So we're gonna mix these cards up, guys. This is kind of scary. This is kind of like playing spades. Oh Lord. Hopefully I'll mix these things up good. We're not gonna I wanted to do this on the show so you guys don't think that we picked out any special card to answer. We're gonna be very raw and transparent.
Well, one thing I would say is that what I like is I like the game nights. I think it's good. It's unique. It makes a party interesting and fun. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think some couples don't like that? Like, you've been over my home when I've had those parties. So it's like, and sometimes they haven't ended well. So like, why do you think that's like, they don't always turn over well? Like, honestly, what's your honest opinion on that? Because some couples, like, they steer away from,
either host is just not, doesn't feel comfortable setting up a stage, or really just wasn't thinking about it. Just wasn't thinking about the extra hospitality on actually having a little bit of structure.
Why do you think people don't like to play is the question. Like, why do you think
people don't necessarily like to be on the spot. Your heart gets racing.
You think that?
You know, sometimes you gotta compete. Maybe other people are gonna think a certain thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's 1,000 different reasons you can think to just want to chill. You know, but
So I'm gonna mix this up again, man. These questions are gonna be questions are gonna be very personal. I feel like so for us to do this, man, make sure y'all use our promo code at the end.
How many of these cards we doing, so
make sure you guys use the promo code at the end, and play this game with your partner. So we're gonna have our show, and I'm gonna start with you, Jason.
We'll put on a promo code.
Just pick one.
Here. You just
picked the top card.
You gamed this card, didn't you?
You pick the top card and
Here
answer
we
the
go.
question.
That's not what I was unpacking. Mm-hmm. Do we spend enough time together?
So the question of the card of this game, the first question is a tough question, and it says, do we spend enough time together? Let's unpack that. Go ahead, Jason. What are your thoughts?
I think we spend a good amount of time. Sometimes we could devote more quality time to do, just different outings. It's a little challenging with a baby and also, working and, just, being tired from all of that, makes it harder to devote certain time, and so that's it. That's what I would say about it.
So, okay. Do we spend enough time together? I think that here's my answer to that. I think we spend enough time together to answer that question. I don't think we spend enough intentional, valuable time. I want to talk about us, but then talk about couples in general, just to make this more engaging. But I feel like spending time together, obviously, a love language is quality time, and some people need more quality time than others. I think the older that I get, I value my alone time, my personal time, and like you said, when you have a baby, there's not a lot of alone time already. And the definition and time as you know it when you have a baby, it changes. Like all we had was time before you get off work, and then all we have is time to go to a bar, go here, have fun, do whatever you want to do. But when you have a baby, time is of the essence, because here's the thing. You're tired from work, you're tired from having the baby, but then you still have to be intentional about having intentional time and valuable time. And I hope I'm saying that right, but time that is well spent with your partner. So like, you can spend time with your partner, but it might not be any valuable time. So it might be time where you guys are just sitting there in silence, or you're sitting there on your phones. Like I've heard a lot of couples say that, oh, my partner, we sit there on the couch and, she's on her phone the whole time, or he's on his phone the whole entire time. And so to me, that is an example of like spending time together, but it's not like good time. It's not time that's useful. So do we spend enough time together? I don't think we spend enough like good time together. And I think that that's something that we could work on.
Okay.
And so how do you feel about, Jesus, how do you feel about like couples and spending time? Like, why is that, is that important?
Well, it's essential to spend time. Quality time, for me, something that both people like to do, or something that sometimes you can compromise, but just time that is sort of sometimes just ironed out, that it's something we're going to do. I think the compromise is the biggest piece, because if two people can understand each other better, they're going to get along better too. Do that. So
yeah. And here's the thing. I think, for people who are newly dating or, even single, you need to hear these kind of things. Like, it's a good question when you're first dating someone to ask them, like, what do they enjoy spending their quality time with their partner? Like what does that look like for them? Like for me, I'm a movie person. I can sit on the couch with my partner and watch. I love sitting on my couch with my partner watching back-to-back movies that we're both like invested in the movies and invested in finding movies and invested in like the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, that is amazing time because it's something that we're both interested in. It's something that we can discuss during the movie, after the movie, and it's something that we both enjoy. So I think it's very important when you're dating someone to kind of get an idea, hey, like, what does quality time look like to you? I think that's a really, really good question that I can't even think of a relationship that I've had where I've even asked that question. But what amazing question to ask. Like, what does quality time look like to you? Like, that's such an important question to ask,
Right. And the last thing that you said, people need their own time too. Alone time is important, but alone time is good and healthy for everybody. There just should be some quality time, and quality time can supersede a lot of time being together just doing nothing. So the quality time is everything.
Absolutely. So next question in the Unpack That Therapy in a Box game. What is something we used to do together that you wish we still did? So my
question. My turn to pick a question.
You pick the first question. I just gave it to you. I'm passing them back and forth. So
am I even get to pick a question? I mean, it's ridiculous. Go ahead.
Okay. So the next question in the deck is, what is something we used to do together that you wish we still did? What is something that we used to do that I wish we still did? I can't think of anything, honestly. That I would say on the podcast.
Right. I mean, some of these questions are, this is Unpack That.
Yeah.
I mean, these are deep questions. This is not something for, this is something for, a couple of these can be put into the parties, but this is when people are going to go home mad at each other. This can cause divorce. So
right.
These are the games that, you're going to unpack a lot of things, and you got to be prepared for what you're packing.
So the question again, to repeat, what is something we used to do together that you wish we still did? So you know what? I'm gonna just for shits and giggles. What comes to mind is there was a bar that was behind my house that we used to go to randomly, and it was like one of these bars that probably if I ever saw it passing by, I might not even stop to. It looked like a very crazy hole in the wall, like a bunch of like rednecks types bar. But I feel like when we first were dating, we used to go to that bar randomly, and we used to meet so many fun people, have so many good ass cheap drinks, and have a great night. And I think that staying aligned into how other couples can benefit from this as well is like, you have to kind of make sure that you don't deviate too far from the things that you used to do that you guys both enjoyed, because there's a reason why you enjoyed them. And I think sometimes when you're with somebody for a very long time, things start to become monotonous, and the things that you used to enjoy because of work and life and just stuff happening, they become few and far between. But I'll get this question to you. What is something that we used to do together that you wish we still did?
I would say, certainly going out to, sit down and talk and have a drink together and have fun, go out different places, go into, the city a little bit more. That was something that I miss doing, we used to do a lot more. Getting on the little scooters rides and having fun that way. So we'll get back to that. It's a little, we have to really prioritize how to do it with a baby, some of these things, but but yeah.
And it's so funny because, you kind of keep hearing us talk about a baby, but with a baby. So, I mean, listen, use us for an example, man. Like when you have a child, when you have a baby with somebody, it changes everything, especially in the case for certain couples, if your marriage or relationship has to be super, super rock solid, in my opinion, before you start bringing kids into it. Because I feel like bringing kids is such a hard thing to do because it changes the norm. And so you hear us saying, well, yeah, having a kid, but, if we have a kid, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be really, 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 really cautious. And I that's one reason that I like these kind of games.
Especially if you don't have living people with you, like family especially, or somebody, then you have to be, understanding of what your time is.
So that's one reason why I like games like this is because it asks, like it says, the tough questions. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's really, really cool to this is not just a question game for people who've been together for a long time. I think these are good questions to ask about 90 days into a relationship. So we'll go there, but I'll let you choose your card if that's very important.
But I just want it to be random.
It is random.
It is. Mm-hmm. What are you still learning about life?
That's your question for yourself, and then I'll answer it.
Still learning a lot of things, how to effectively communicate in a relationship with a woman when women are from whatever other planets, that are different than ours. So, that's something to constantly learn. Learning about being a father, it's the stages of that continue to grow, trying to see and learn from experience on that. Learning is what it is to be a middle-aged man and see how that feels, see what I can do to, try to reverse that process a little bit. So the sky's the limit, different places I need to travel to go to. So it's a constant learning, that, just keep going, whatever you're doing. Just try to be positive, and then listen to elders, I would say.
Okay, so the question is, what are you still learning about life? I love that question. So for me, I think I'm still kind of learning myself. I think for women especially, I think one of the beautiful things about getting older, especially for a woman, is that you become much more sure of what you want in life, what you don't want, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate, whether it's in work or anything, you know what I'm saying? And I think the confidence that I have, the stability that I have within myself, I think I'm still learning how to navigate that. And also I'm learning here's a big thing of what I'm learning. I saw this psychic and she told me that I needed to do this, and I agree. I'm learning, which I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm learning how to unlearn things that have been in my head. So I'm learning how to unlearn things ways that I think things should be. Which I don't even know if that's a good thing, but that's something I'm still learning, about life. And also I think one of the biggest things about life that I'm learning is that, very cliche, but God laughs at your plans. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have always been a planner. I feel like I've tried to kind of plan out my life very meticulously. And I'm learning that God is probably, I think I'm God's personal jester. I feel like I'm God's personal jester. I really feel, it's funny. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a court jester.
Yeah, court jester. I feel like, me and one of my friends always laugh, the stuff that happens to me in life, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. And I feel like God, I'm learning that I'm learning to shut the fuck up, and you know what I'm saying? About these long-term plans, because you can plan shit, but it probably won't go how you planned it. So I think I'm learning a lot about life, and I'm learning so much that I wish I'm happy and eager to share it with my nieces and my daughters. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want them to go through some of the stuff that I've gone through. So I guess I'm learning that piece. So let me choose the next question. That's good. Okay. What is your favorite memory of me?
Man, I'm trying to think of
The good.
Man, that's really hard. That's the type of question that you just can't answer that immediately, and just have particularly into just a favorite memory.
So the question again in the Unpack That Game is, what is your favorite memory of me? I'm gonna think about that too. These are really good questions. These are really good questions that make you think. You know what? So I'll answer. I'll go ahead and take my turn. So one of my favorite memories that come to mind is we took, I think, our first trip that we took to DC. It was New Year's Eve, and that's like one of the special, like that's one of those memories that are like not Photoshop, but like not emphasized, oh my God, but like that's engraved in my head. So our first trip to DC, I think it might have been our first or second New Year's Eve together. And you spent time with your family, and I was kind of chilling out. And I remember two things. I remember I was saying a word. I have so many good memories from that trip. I remember how fun it was on the drive to DC. We listened to great music. I always said that if you can travel with somebody like a road trip, then that's a good sign, because I love a road trip dependent upon the company. And that was like a 8-hour drive, I guess. And we had such a good time. I feel like we had good conversation. I feel like you let me be myself and kind of sing and be jovial that I normally am, and sing and have fun, and, you know, sing my white people songs, whatever. And then we got there. I felt like it was really good energy. I felt like the countdown to New Year's Eve was so special. I feel like I remember us hugging in the window. I think I still have that video, and it's really, really special. And I remember we popped some champagne and got so drunk that we didn't even have sex that night. We just like ended up, I don't know, in that bed, and then woke up and it was just such a great time. Like you were doing your thing, I was doing my thing, and we came together. That was like one of my favorite memories of us, I think, that comes to mind. How about you?
Well, a lot of the times, you know, when we go places, I think some of the best memories happen. I would say, probably in Savannah, just, on the little rooftop bar that we went to, just, really, vibing and having a good time and being in the South. I just remember the energy, just how much, having a beautiful smile that you had that was just electric, so that, or have and can show, but that just felt right to me. So that was if I just bring up one good memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next question. Are you lying to yourself about anything? Again, these are getting real unpack that therapy. So the question is, are you lying to yourself about anything? This is scary. So it's my question. I'll go. I think that I am. These are very inappropriate for the podcast. I guess. Ooh, I don't know. These are scary. These are really scary questions. Are you lying to yourself about anything? This is when the camera going to zoom into my face and see the tear fall from my eye. Am I lying to myself? So, am I lying to myself about anything?
You have to figure out what lying to yourself means.
Yeah. Well, I know what that means. It seems like pretty black and white. Here's the thing. I think, and I'll say this, I feel like it kind of goes back to my previous answer. We have these expectations of people and these expectations out of relationships. And in a perfect world, in a fairy tale, or even like what you may assume is happening, like I used to always say I wanted what my parents had for 50 years. That's what I wanted in my marriage or my relationship. And then as I've gotten older, I realized that I was looking at that through young eyes, through perfect eyes. I wasn't looking at that realistically. And so I think I'll say that I'm lying to myself about some of the expectations that I have in the relationship. I think that I'm lying to myself about how I define things. I'll just say that. I feel like I just need to be more realistic to reality of the relationship. I'll say that. Are you lying to yourself about anything?
Not normally, because I try to look myself in the mirror and lay it out there. I mean, I think everybody has lied to themselves about something in their mind, but the question is, are you lying to yourself? Lying to yourself means, do you know about the shit that you're doing that's wrong, or you're doing or don't want to do, or something and you're not wanting to do it, or whatever the case may be. But I'm just clear about whatever it is, whatever my demons and all of that is. I know what it is already.
So this is about relationship. So,
so.
there could be something that you're lying to yourself, like what you're hoping for that you know is not going to happen. Or
I don't. That's not the. I try to be more positive, because if you're gonna have a negative output, that's what you're gonna get, or you're gonna get negative results if you have negative thoughts going into it. You have to spin it first to have any chance of any positivity happening.
Do you think being positive is being in reality, though? I mean, like...
Sometimes you have to be positive when it's not reality. You ever listen to the gospel? I thought we were listening to it a few minutes ago. Okay. You have to be positive when times are sometimes the hardest. That's the way somebody can bounce back. You cannot bounce back if you just sit there and wallow in your sorrow and don't formulate a plan.
Do you think that a lot of couples lie to themselves in their relationships?
Yeah, obviously, if they stay together for financial reasons, or, obviously they can stay together for children, they can stay together, for convenience, whatever the case, and they can lie about if they have a happy relationship or not. I think that's one of the most fundamental things, that if people are pulling out these cards and unpacking them, they're going to have to make that decision for themselves. A lot of people don't want to play this game.
No,
I think it's a good game, but people will play at home, but maybe they don't, I mean, this is a good game for parties. But some of them are going to have to skip. You're going to have to give at least 6 skips.
One-on-one. I wouldn't say a party.
No. What I say is there's only a few questions that can be answered in the party.
Yeah.
One of your parties, you still ask these questions. Yeah. So let's be real.
This
is coming out in the next party, possibly.
This might come out.
I'm ready to see, but how many relationships get ruined.
Yeah, go pick your card. Any card. That's what we aim for. If we're gonna be sad, y'all gonna be sad too.
Well, misery loves company.
Absolutely, and we want your company.
Sheesh. In what ways have we grown together for the better?
This is where we'll insert crickets. The cricket noise. This is your question, so you answer it.
So I asked you that question.
You ask yourself, and then I answer it.
Well, I think, first of all, to me, growing together, spending more time together, having a child is very special. Understanding each other better, but at the same time, really just having each other's back when really, if it was ever needed, knowing that we can really rely on each other for something. That's how I think that how we've grown.
For the better. Huh?
Yeah.
So what's your answer? How have you grown together for the better? What's your answer?
Just being together long enough to have trust over when that we're there for what really matters. And we support each other and help each other when we need it. I think there's always more and more ways to grow, but that's in a way that I think for me it's continuing to grow.
In what ways have we grown together for the better? In what ways have we grown together for the better? So I guess my answer to that would be, understanding each other. I think we've grown together for the better to fully understand who each other is and what they require, what they don't like, what they do like. I think that's for the better. Like, when you're with somebody, and people don't admit this, but whether you are being truthful or not, and whether it's at a certain percentage or not, people show you certain sides of themselves, and the longer you're with them, day by day by day, it's like an onion. They're unpeeling certain layers. So like,
right.
As the months, as the weeks, as the days go by, another layer is peeled. And I think that one of the things that we have grown better together has been I think 90% of our layers are peeled. And I think that, we now see the raw person for who they are. And I think it's for the better, because I think the sooner you know your partner at that 90%, 80% level, the better. So I think that's how we've grown together for the better. Just, letting time go by and letting those layers peel off and letting the raw person kind of come out. So that's what I'll say. Okay, a couple more questions. Let me pick one for myself. I keep picking the tough questions. Okay. Oh God. When was the last time you cried? That is so sad. Well, the last time I cried was fucking 2 days ago, because this is a raw and transparent show. I cried 2 days ago in a restaurant. And it kind of goes in hand to what I said just now, like, letting those layers peel off. So, like, communication is very important. And I feel like I cried at a restaurant 2 days ago because I feel like I wasn't being heard. And hopefully it was a learning lesson for my partner. But yeah, I cried because I was, I had a rough week, and Fridays are so important to me. I remember my mom's, my dad passed away, and I remember her saying to me how important Fridays are to her. And it didn't hit me until I realized, damn, Fridays are important to our family, because Fridays means a certain thing to our family growing up. So, like, for me, especially having a stressful job, a job that you don't even really care for that much, you know what I'm saying? But a job that's high stress, Friday is such a monumental time. And so I feel like on this past Friday, I kind of let my hair down. I was feeling good and I wasn't heard. And I cried because, I think that one thing about me is that when it comes to like bad things or, whatever, I'm not a talker. I won't talk things over and over again. My therapist said that, I'm very logical. My partner is very emotional. And so sometimes it can cause friction because I'm more of a like, boom in your face, here's reality, let's fix it, we'll walk away. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have any emotions attached to a problem because a problem is just that. I want to just find the solution. And I feel like, I feel like I cried 2 days ago. I just didn't feel heard. How was the last time that you cried?
Well, first of all, I disagree with your psychologist or whatever, because you have a lot of emotion. Most women do, but
well, he's talking about the way I think.
Well, no, I'm a grown-ass man who's come real far from where I started at 40. I think patiently before I make decisions. So just to let you know, that's why I made it as far as I have, 40 years old. So that's number one. But one of the things that black men don't really respect each other enough, and that's one of the biggest problems in the community, is niggas who don't, support each other or whatever. I work out every day, but I for these bitch niggas.
When was the last time you cried?
But what I would say is that, probably I get emotional, but I don't. This is it gets too raw. When this is not the right darts to start pulling out for people to play. You guys need to be very careful about playing these games. It's not these. If you actually answer these questions honestly, then. When
was the last time you cried?
Probably because I was emotional about something that happened in our relationship. I don't remember exactly when, or if I did remember something, I wouldn't mention it. It's just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
To talk about.
Pick a card. We're giving you guys the raw of this game. This is a really, really good game for all couples. So make sure that you use that coupon code and get your 20% off. It's going to be worth it. What's your next card?
Why do you think we're in each other's lives?
That's your question to ask yourself, and then I'll answer a second.
To see what, the ups and downs of life is about, to really develop, grow, maybe learn more about each other, figure out a way ultimately to, because we have a lot of great chemistry and things that are great, just to get, figure out a way ultimately to, find a way to get the devil or demonic energies out of any spaces. But I would definitely our lives also to raise our daughter, especially this is very special to me, my little girl Bailey.
So the question is, why do you think we are in each other's lives? I feel that personally, I've read a lot of books about like afterlife, and spirituality and stuff like that. And I feel personally that you're in my life to teach me patience. Um, I think that's one of the lots. Obviously, you're in my life to bring Bailey to this earth. Because no one else could have made Bailey or my daughter. So that's one reason. And I think the other reason just the first answer that comes to my head is just patience, to teach me patience, and to teach me my flaws in terms of like, not flaws, but I feel like patience, because I think I've already, sometimes you feel like you have a certain skill that's always, always, always worked. And then you meet somebody and the skill does not work. And so you have to practice patience. I think that's why I think that's one of the reasons why we're in each other's lives, is for me personally, is for you to show me how to like be patient, I guess. Okay, 2 more questions and then we're done, guys.
Wait. It's my turn, isn't it? Or was that my question?
That was your question.
So let me hand it to you to pick, child.
Okay. If you could do anything in the world with me, what would it be? If I could do this is a light question. If I could do anything in the world, it would be rich. Because I feel like, money is like,
we'll get there.
I feel like, yeah, we'll get there for sure. I'm sure you'll get there. We'll get there. But the thing of it is, I feel like if I could do one thing with you, it'd be to be rich and just travel the world with our nanny and with our baby. That's my dream. Like in a close my eyes, perfect world, what could I do with my partner? It would be to be rich enough to have a nanny and to travel the world, because we both work remote, and just travel the world and just be free. I think that one of our pluses is that we do really well together when it comes to just living life on a fun note. I think that one of our biggest struggles is when it comes to like, when serious things are happening. Like when it comes to like the tough, serious conversations, the serious life things, bills, finances, just serious stuff. I think that's where we struggle the most. And so sometimes those things are easier when you have a surplus of money. And I think that if we had a surplus of money, we could just travel the world and have our nanny and all this kind of stuff and just have experiences. We're so good at experiencing new things. We're so good socially. And that's what I would love to do. Just be social and travel together forever. What's your answer? If you could do anything in the world with me, what would it be?
Again, that's that's one of we've been having some really concrete ones until that question. Because I don't really know. I have to think about that, but it would be to be having a conversation and repeatedly, and know that, we're in tune enough that little things don't really matter anymore, so that's what I would want.
What does that mean? I don't understand that.
So that we both, through growth, understand patience, so that when little things can potentially flare up, they don't materialize the same way as they could,
Well, I think what you're saying, you have to be careful with, because when you say little things, what could be little to one person might not be little to the other person. And so it's things like that I think people have to be very careful of in relationships, is like, and I can be bad at that as well. Like I can say, oh my God, that's so little. Why would I even care? But for me, the patience, the growth, the maturity is understanding that what might be small to me might be major to my partner, and vice versa. So,
well, that's true. But when you haven't no two people are the same. So
absolutely,
what is little to one, which isn't. But the difference is, through conversation, you can get to an understanding of, where people are at, and put into perspective what the importance is, and it's not, and it isn't that easy to do. It's just really a matter of can the person do it mentally or not. It is what it is.
Big car.
The same question that we already had.
Don't pick the bottom. Just pick in the middle, please. Top of the middle.
What is something about you that I don't know?
What is something about me that you don't know? I think something about me that you don't know is how I yearn for stability and like I feel like you don't know how much I yearn for stability, how important to me like traditional roles are. Um I don't think you know the importance that has for me. Like I'm like one thing about me, I might have a tough exterior, but inside I am very big on traditional roles where the man is the head and the woman kind of plays a back seat in terms of like making decisions and being the breadwinner, whatever the case might be. I'm very big into like traditional roles, and I don't think you know that much about me. How about you?
Well, I would say
what I know about you.
I don't. Well, I'd just say you don't. I don't think that you know that. I embrace all those type of roles. I don't think that you know that if you can just relax and not be so emotional in certain situations, that things that a traditional role is possible. So I actually would. That's what I think you don't know. If you could relax in a certain situation, the traditional stability roles are very possible.
So I think that the definition of traditional roles, again, things are very much person specific definition.
Because I do dishes, I'll keep it real. I don't
Yeah,
mind doing some non-traditional. I do the trash and I do the dishes if I have to. I'll wipe up something off the floors, wipe the stove off, whatever I have to do, because the way I see it, if there's a mess and it needs to be cleaned, either somebody needs to do it or else or one person's nasty. But if both people don't like having a mess and it's there, somebody should clean it eventually. And it doesn't have to be necessarily the person who did it, but when you're working as a team.
So I think that was my answer. So for me to provide clarity to that question, like for traditional, I specifically mean that, I'm traditional in the sense that, husband, wife, husband is the head, the children and the wife go to the husband for direction, for guidance. If one thing I'm very big on, one thing that I'm super big on that I guess you don't know about me, to answer that question, that most people do know about me, I don't like, or let me word this the right way. When it comes to making decisions to go left or right, whatever, I thrive in a capacity where where I can go to somebody to help me to make those decisions. And I feel like you don't probably know how important that is to me. And this is, we're just having a very superficial conversation for the podcast, so let's not, whatever. But I think that that is so important for me to hey, oh my God, like this happened at my job, what should I do? Or, this happened, whatever, what should I do? Like, I don't prefer to and this sounds very shallow of myself or very like dumb blonde of myself, but I do it now. So if you know me, you know. But like I prefer to go to my partner for that, and that's super important to me. And I don't think you know that about me.
Well, I think that I know that, but what I would say, just in response, and I'll leave it at that, is that sometimes couples have to be very careful what they share with other people, what they don't, what conversations they're having, what they don't with tone, because people are not behind people's closed doors. Sometimes they are, but fundamentally, what it comes down to is, if you're sharing something with somebody that they can't bring up to you, that other person, if you're sharing a type of something that they wouldn't tell you about their situation, it becomes something that it's questionable how much it should be shared, because if it ever got out, those are the type of things that ruin relationships, but those are the type of things that cause people to get upset and feel angry and disrespected. So when you tell and talk about negativity, that always breeds more negativity into the world. But then when you tell people shit that they shouldn't necessarily know, you shouldn't tell them, because that type of information, if they used that, they would be in a lot of hot water. Absolutely. Depending on who it was and what was said to that people. You can't something that goes on behind a man and woman's closed doors, that other person who's being told that can't present that information to that other person and say, here, and try to counsel them on what to do with their shit. So people have to be real careful, about what they're saying, because most of the time it's never going to come back to that person, because obviously it's so disrespectful and they wouldn't want anybody speaking on them like that. But that's toxic information to have and chew on, because only positivity breeds more positivity. Negativity breeds negativity. So that's, it's a very thin line on that.
I agree with you. When I was married the first time, I remember I went to this like couples thing at a church with another couple that I'm so close with. And this pastor said that you should have he said this, and it stuck with me. This was 15 years ago. He said, you should have one other couple that you can go to that's married like you are, to confide in, and you trust them to give you good advice. And I agree with you. You need to be very cautious and careful about, sharing things. And I think that one thing that you said that stuck out is that do not share nothing with nobody who they're keeping their stuff secret from you. You know what I'm saying? Like first of all, we're all adults, 40 plus. Some people are damn near 50, some people damn near 60 in my particular circle. So right. no one is playing games with anybody's anything, But I feel like the few people, which is probably 1.5 people that I confide in, are people that we confide in with each other. So I'm sure if their partners knew the stuff that I knew, but we're both mature enough to never let that even leave our brains, leave our minds, you know what I'm saying? But it's such a healthy thing. This is the thing. I don't know everything. And the friends that I have are not one-sided. A real friend is going to tell you the truth, whether your friend is right or the person that they're not friends with is right. And it's so valuable. I said this in my last podcast. It's so important to have a circle of people behind you who mean you well, and a support circle. Because I know with me personally, whether it's work, personal, family, whatever, if I go to my friends, which is probably 1.5 people that I go to about my personal business, they're not going to tell me what it sounds pretty to make me sound better. They're not going to tell me what sounds pretty to that makes me look good. They're going to be like, girl, you're wrong. You're wrong, girl. Or, girl, this is what I would do. Or I've been through this. Let me help you. Or here's my opinion. You can take it, whatever. And that is what is so helpful to me. That's what I thrive on, because you shouldn't be sharing something. I'm not going to share something with a friend who ain't even in my position, a friend who can't, not even stable, a friend who ain't even, with somebody. I'm not going to be doing that. I want to go to somebody that I trust, who's going to give me, that's why God puts people in our life. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of my friends are older than me. They've been there, they've done that. And it's such a blessing to have people in your life who are going to keep it real with you.
All I can say,
white,
and I think everybody needs outlets and friends.
Absolutely.
All I can say is what I was saying at the end, and people need to listen to this. Mm-hmm. You have to be very careful what you're speaking out of your mouth, because what you continue to speak about or talk about, or what energy you throw out at something, it keeps coming back. It's like a boomerang effect. If you're the opposite at it, just try that for a while and see if things change, or don't. Just keep doing the same shit and see if something changes. Last time I checked, when you do the same shit, it's the same shit.
Right.
Exactly.
And I agree with that. When you do the same stuff, you get the same results, whether it's 20 years ago, 2 days ago. If you're doing the same stuff, you're going to have the same situation in all situations. So I agree with that. Last card of the night. I think you picked that one, so I'll pick the final card. Since this is my show, I'll pick the last card. And we're gonna end off with the good. So, and then we're gonna end off with our final thoughts of this game and the coupon code. So the last question is the good, and it says, what is the most embarrassing moment we've had together? What's the most embarrassing moment we had together for the final question? I'm not going to say it was embarrassing, but one of the funnest moments that comes to mind, because again, we're put on the spot because we're on a show. Something that comes to mind is I talked earlier about this bar behind my house, and I remember one fun ass night. This is when it was snowing outside. we went to that bar and we were drinking, and I actually ran into one of my coworkers, ironically, at that bar. And it was a white girl with a black dude, so whatever. And they actually crossed the street to come to my house, to like after the bar, just to have fun and talk and whatever. It was a great. Those are the nights I miss, man. Those random nights. I love random nights. And Jason, the embarrassing point was we were so drunk and it was so late that we were crossing the street and Jason tried to run down a hill. Well, that's embarrassing for you. I guess not for me.
Right.
So that's not a good one, but he fell down the hill. So hold up. Let me know. If you could do anything wrong question. Oh my God, Melanie. What's the most embarrassing moment we've had together? I don't know. Oh my God. That was a dumb story I didn't even relate. I don't know. So let me say this. We've had a lot of horribly embarrassing moments, but nothing that's funny. Right. We've had a lot of horrible, embarrassing moments, but I can't think of one, honestly, that I would want to share. How about you?
I mean, there's a lot of funny moments, Embarrassing. I don't know. I guess,
maybe when you spilled that drink on Sharon that time of that.
I barely remember that. Oh, that wasn't the biggest thing. I don't know. I don't want to throw you out there so much. We had some funny parties though. Probably that thing at the beach the other day was embarrassing.
Nothing embarrasses me. I'm grown. Please go ahead, answer the question. Nothing embarrasses me.
Well, how much of a lightweight you turned into should be embarrassing.
I just had a baby. I'm not embarrassed.
The island of Palms, where you got drunk off a couple cans of beer.
Not embarrassed. I'm grown. I don't even drink throughout the week, so I'm grown.
So
that wasn't embarrassing. I guess that was embarrassing to you, but not to me. I had fun. But listen, y'all, thank you so much for coming to this episode. Jason, what are your thoughts on the Unpackthat game? What are your thoughts on the Unpackthat game?
It has a lot of good questions that people can talk about. I mean, if people actually are willing to play the game, then they could actually get some good things out of it. And there's a couple questions that could be used at a party. Look, the non-scary parties can have these type of questions. So I think it's a good game. Just be careful when you're playing it, it can be volatile too.
I thoroughly enjoy the Unpackthat game. I think this is a great game for parties. This is a great game for couples. This is a very scary game to play live on a show because, listen, we were not prepared. But I definitely think that this is a game that you should definitely purchase because I am a connoisseur of couples games, and I've had a lot of couples games, and this is the first one that really asked the not stereotypical questions. I think that these questions made you think. I think that these questions, especially, in a private setting, would really unpack, which is the name of the game, it would really unpack a lot of things. And I think that the one thing I would say, the disclaimer I would say, is that before you play this game, I would sit down with your partner and say, hey, this is a game, unpack that. Let's bring it to the table. Let's be very raw and transparent, and no one can get offended. No one can get mad. No one can get angry. This is a game to help us. And I really respect that it says therapy in a box because the questions that they have generated are really great conversation starters for couples. So I really love this game. Don't be judging us on this on our questions, on our answers of this game, y'all.
No, it was all good. I mean,
it was all good. You saw Jason's angry side, but
people can always come up and do it for themselves.
Absolutely.
It's always easy to throw a glass at a glass house, but the glass still breaks, at the end of the day. But this was another scary episode, obviously, anytime I'm on the show. But Unpack That, this has been a running joke, because Melanie loves these. This is perfect that Unpack That is working with the podcast because this is, everybody knows to be nervous of when Melanie pulls out the Unpack It, topics.
And for all of my friends
who are get scared.
All of my friends who are listening, this is going to be the next, game we play at the next
Just get
party
ready for this.
I don't know where it's gonna be or when it's gonna be, but it's
gonna
gonna
unpack.
It's gonna be the next game that I have at my next event that I have for couples. So listen, y'all. Thank you so much. Listen, the promo code to get 20% off of the Unpack That Game, which is a valuable game for all couples, is Melanie P. MELONEY P as in Paul. If you put in Melanie P in your promo code, you'll get 20% off this already very inexpensive game. 20% off, y'all. You cannot beat that. If you want to save your marriage, save your partnership with somebody, get this game.
Chemistry.
Have the conversations. Promo code is Melanie P, MELONEYP for 20% off of the Unpack That Game. I'm going to have all the details in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. We'll see you next week.
Peace.